The Spannungsvorleid has been triggered, and I really have to say, goods and supplies are becoming scarce, just as I said last year, or rather, as I said last week. Absolutely independent media are now confirming this. And I can only tell you, for those who were still laughing back then, maybe you shouldn't be laughing by the end of this video. And yes, it was reported in the press yesterday, the Spannungsvorleid has been declared. You can no longer leave this country for more than 3 months without getting a permit from the Bundeswehr, so that you can really leave, just like I said in October and was laughed at for it. Afterwards, people asked me in my videos, yeah, so why didn't you move away? What I said after that was, because on the 19th April this year, I'm out, and then I can't be drafted anymore under this new law. And my son still needs a few more years before he would actually have to serve in the Bundeswehr. So, a very good morning to you. We are looking at the situation, the escalating situation in this market where food and goods are no longer available or become extremely expensive. And we are looking at the emergency situation. And before we get into these topics, I would like to briefly share the day's horror news with you. Really?
Saying sentences like, I have the confidence that we will solve this. I really notice, even here in Germany, that people breathe a sigh of relief and say, yes, exactly, we still need to have confidence that this will work.
So now you definitely only need the power of persuasion, which is extremely important, to move this country forward and to keep it from completely crashing. But before we start talking about the emergency situation and also about the goods and products that are either no longer in stock or are now becoming insanely expensive, may I ask you for just one more thing? If you'd like to support this channel, please give me a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe. It would help me a lot so I can reach even more people and prevent them from blindly running into disaster.
So guys, while we're all intently watching the war with Iran and what's happening there every day, whether there are peace negotiations or not, a logistical catastrophe is unfolding in the background. A catastrophe, there's really no other way to put it. Because many things will become more expensive in the future or simply won't be available to us anymore, there's just not enough for everyone anymore. The reserves aren't being depleted for no reason. Well, gas, of course, electricity costs will go up because we produce a lot of electricity with gas, cleaning products, but we'll get into that in more detail in a moment. I also put it into other categories and found even more. It's clear in agriculture, fertilizers, grain and meat will become more expensive, and add blue.
Did you see the list? If not, I'll quickly go through it with you again. I'll read the whole thing out once. So we're talking about crude oil, gasoline, glass, urea, polymers, helium, aluminum, methanol, basically everything you need in your daily life, or any consumer goods you might want to buy this year, including agricultural products, household chemicals, textiles, construction and housing, hygiene magazine, hygiene and medicine, automotive and electronics. If you need anything from these sectors, it's best to make the purchase right now and not wait weeks or months. Yes, I know. Now some people will say, yes, but if I fill up my car, a tax, etc., you don't know that yet until it starts. What we do know is that the chaos has already been caused. And even if the Strait of Hormuz were open again tomorrow, these supply shortages simply wouldn't be resolved. They would continue. Right now, the market is ruled by whoever bids the highest gets the deal. It's basically take it or leave it. That's exactly the problem we have right now. And that's the next issue we're facing. And we should address it more today, tomorrow, and even more in the coming days. Is it the problem with the voltage drop? I made a video about it and you all tore me apart. And still, nothing happened in the Bundestag. Yes, that's exactly what happened, but it wasn't made public. It was done behind closed doors. And it wasn't passed on Wednesday, but a week later.
Welcome to the best Germany of all time, where nearly 40 years after the collapse of the GDR, you once again have to apply for an exit permit. I have
it. Back then, in my video that got 180,000 views, I made it clear again. I said, please go ahead and write an email to your CDU and SPD representatives telling them that you don't want to support this. By the way, I got this information directly from the CDU party headquarters. They also just told me like, hey, see if you can stir up some attention, see if you can get involved in the election campaigns. Now, right after the elections, it's suddenly out. You're not allowed to just leave this country anymore if you want to be gone for more than 3 months. Personally, I don't really care, but I'm not making these videos for myself, I'm making them for you out there. And again, I hope that before we look at the context in a moment, you definitely maybe write an email to the CDU representative in your district telling them that you definitely don't want something like this anymore. That this is a GDR or National Socialist agenda that we have long since overcome, and that you are no longer willing, even if you wouldn't vote for them, that you are definitely no longer willing to vote for these troublemakers, liars, or even lunatics.
Yes, really, this is not an April Fool's joke. That's really how it is. This now affects everyone who has to work outside the country for more than 3 months or is doing a semester abroad.
Or maybe want to emigrate. Back then, I gave you a guideline in this video. However, what I didn't find out until a week later was that it no longer applies to me. So, with the implementation, with triggering it, I was off the hook. I also made a video about it which got almost 5,000 views. That's why, once again, no, you're not allowed to leave the country anymore, and you probably can't just move away either, because they are definitely preparing for a war. And if you don't start taking action now, well, then you'll just spend the rest of your life in this shattered Germany. Because just leaving like that, well, that's no longer an option now. Unless you're retired, you're over 45 years old, or for example, you're seriously ill or something like that, or mentally disturbed. However, it's important to keep one thing in mind. This law only applies, as I said back then, to people who only have a German passport and no second citizenship. I will link the video again right here or here or here or here. What you can do and what will happen will become clear. I exaggerated a bit in this video, but you should definitely watch it again because maybe, yeah, you'll pack a go bag now too. Unless you voluntarily go into this war, which none of us know about, which none of us want. And let's all remember the words of Annalena Baerbock. 2 days after Putin has defeated Ukraine, he'll be in Brandenburg. And to that, I just want to say it's just stupid that the Russians down there aren't moving.